broken. We did not understand what. That man woke up all two. I asked him, who is that? He said, I don't know. And after that, we were walking here and then nothing to see. We thought that it was from wood side. But on the next day, when we woke up, we see that they broke the bowl for food of this dog, which was in the yard kept. And look, here was this pool for dog with water. It was placed here on this side, on right side. They moved about 10 meters away. That means 30 feet or so. And also they broke that this ball. It is they changed. They probably they took the food and after they broke and we discussed what happened. And finally came to conclusion that that man was not favorable for they did not like him, and also they know that they are not in a good relations with the man, and they just start to revenge for that. It was happening really because they feel such things. How is the attitude of the host to that person, you see?
Let me explain this. This gentleman was invited to my home as a guest. When I brought people into my home, which were very few, there were several people that came, they all witnessed it, some of them actually saw the forest people. But when you come into my home and you step outside my door, you are in their home. And they like things a certain way. I feel responsible for them when they're in my place, so I follow their rules. And this gentleman was welcome to come. We told him he could stay. However, everything that they asked him to do, he did the opposite. And he was very intrusive with them, and they didn't like it, okay? I feel emotions, okay? I'm very empathetic. I can feel when they're upset. And believe me, they were upset. Okay? And I did try to talk to him and say, listen, you know, I'm just asking you to be calm and courteous to these people. He couldn't do that. He was very invasive, especially when there were children around. And so I had to then ask him to leave. For not only, I don't think they would actually hurt him, but he was very upsetting to them. And they made sure that we all knew that they were not happy.
We need to take a momentarily a break.
Hey there, this is the quick television commercial for Bigfoot University tomorrow. It starts at 8:30 right here. We're going to have Bigfoot University talks from 9 to 10:30, and then we're going to take people out into the woods. And I'm going to give the several people who are the instructor and faculty for Bigfoot University, and if they go ahead and put their landing zones in Robin. Ladies first. Okay, Igor, Janice, and Matt Dell. So these are our faculty along with me, and we're going to be in here starting at 8:30 with breakfast, 8:30 to 9. We got biscuits, coffee, and all that good stuff. And then we'll be talking about Bigfoot from the textbook. You will all receive a copy of this textbook, Bigfoot Explorers, an Introduction to Hominology. And I wrote the Bigfoot Explorers part. We have a number of Igor's paper in there. We have papers from Janice, from Robin, and paper from Janice. We're going to have additional online. And we're going to have, Matt is working with us on an essay on what to do to be a good and safe Bigfoot explorer. He's going to talk about that tomorrow. So to register, after this talk, go to the ticket booth and you can register. We got room for 6 more people. And then we'll be at max capacity. So thanks for this station break, and I'll give this back to Robin.
Thank you, John.
So, just we come to conclusion that these beings are very, very developed it has more than. Sometimes they are not subhuman; they are superhuman because they own the telepathy, telekinesis, teleportation, and other things. We have a lot of samples, a lot of examples of their paranormal capabilities. Maybe you speak more. You wanted to say this. You about project, what?
I'm going to let Robin start this out with her experience and telepathy.
All right, mine speak for me started before I could talk. I don't literally know a time I didn't have it. Well, it took a while for me to understand that not everybody did this. Now, the forest people are more than capable of this, and most people don't even know that it's happening to them. It comes in many forms. It can be a random picture that you don't understand why it's popping into your head. It could be an emotion that you're feeling and you don't understand why. It could be a random thought. Okay? It could be words spelled in your head. It could be a voice in your mind. It comes in many forms and it's very unique and individualized. And it all can come from them as well as other beings that are out there. Now it's so important to realize that these really are our people. These are not an animal. They are not what everybody thinks they are. They are truly an animal or a people, but they have paranormal abilities. One of the most is the mind state. Okay, and it has gone on for me for years. And when I first had anybody actually call it mind speak, he was explaining to me how he could mind speak, and I thought, wow, that would be really cool. I would love to do that. And the foots popped into my head and said, you've been doing it since you were born. Like I never knew what the name was, I just knew that it happened.
Okay, talking about mind speak, in the book, which was put out in limited copies, 50 Years of Bigfoot, Coexistence, Genesis Chronicles, it's my book and Mary Green's book. I'm co-author in there. I did several chapters in the back of the book, and at the time it was unheard of for someone to say that they had a language, that they could speak English, that they could telepath, that they could remote view. They're clairvoyant. They have a lot of abilities that we are capable of, but we are taught to suppress them at maybe 5 years old when we start kindergarten. We're taught that this is unacceptable behavior. So my experience with them, and I don't know when it didn't happen, again, is they will communicate mind speak with me, and I gave their word for it in the book, in the vocabulary part of mind speaking. And this is the way that they communicate with each other, they communicate with us. They will put pictures in her heads. They will also put words. You can actually hear them talking. People like to say, oh, well, you're a schizophrenic. Well, I'm sorry, I am not a schizophrenic. I am a well-educated lady. I went to college. I came out with a 4.0 and maintained it on the dean's list the entire time I went to college. I am not an uneducated fool. I also studied at the Ryan Center over at Duke. They did tests on me. I do have some odd gifts. I don't know how to explain it better. It's a gift. You're either born with it and you use it, or you express it and you lose it. So they will give me words, they will give me sentences, they will give me pictures. It is lovely to have to go shopping with the Bigfoot in your head, trying to get you to buy stuff at the grocery store. Oh my God. They got on this kick that lavender would be soothing for Robin. We went on a scavenger hunt, running through Walmart, and then demanding, get this lavender, get that lavender. They sent us to the baby section. They sent us over to the shampoo, the soap, the candles. Everything was lavender. Today, I am over here and I happen to pass this lady with gemstones over here in the corner. And speaking of which, please visit all of our vendors. This is their venues. And one of hers got in my head and said, oh, you have to come over here and get this rock. Go get Robin. Tell her to come over here and buy this rock. You need it. And it has properties to heal blood. Robin has a blood disease. She has fibromyalgia. It seems like everybody that is into this research or hominology research or Bigfoot research has some sort of physical or how would you say it? Ailment of some sort. We are all either crippled and hobbling around like broken down old nags, is what I refer to myself as. Or we have something going on with us. We don't choose them, they choose us. But they will get in your head. They want you to do this. They tell you, for instance, they gave Robin a recipe. One of mine did. They have a medical healing. I don't know how to explain it. Robin, what would you call it?
Their medicine far outweighs ours. Okay? The medicine that our people have created get us hooked on it. The medicine that their people created heal. There's a vast difference. There's nothing addictive to it. It's all natural. Now, the recipe that they gave for the fibromyalgia works on anything that's pain-induced. And it is incredible. It truly is. We have asked them at times for different people if we could share it with them, and they will either say yes or no. Their biggest concern is they'll be exploited, because that's what our people do, unfortunately, is they exploit and they destroy what they do not understand. But their ways are so superior to ours. It really is. And it's something that really needs to be taken seriously. As far as the crystals go, they have me do a lot of work for them, some of which I don't really have time to go into today. Some of it has a lot to do with healing of them, and these crystals will benefit them as well. They have a big habit of saying, I need this for them, or I need that for them, and they do that with Janice as well. And we're good little puppets, is what we say. We're good puppets. Unless we feel that it's something that will not be beneficial to not only their people but ours, we generally try to help whenever we can, which means we are on call 24 hours a day, 12 days a week. We don't get vacations, we don't get holidays. It literally goes non-stop. I sleep with the TV on, not because I enjoy it, but because that way it drowns out them speaking. I can block it so I can't hear anything they say, but it takes energy to do it, and when I'm sleeping you don't do it as well. So that's why the TV's on. As far as the lavender, we had a very negative entity that was apparently hovering around, not on the property but near it, and they had decided that it was a risk for myself, and so they went into this, I had to be bathed in lavender. There was nothing lavender made that I did not have to have. I smelled like a lavender flower for weeks, and they still go in bouts where they need me to do it. But in their mind it kept me safe, and I will be, make it clear I was safe. They've taught me how to defend myself if need be, but the lavender has healing or protection properties for them. And so they were very adamant. But she is 100% right. You go to the store, and they are chattering. I took my grandchildren to the movie Smallfoot, which was a cartoon. They flipped out. They were so upset. They wanted me to stand up in the theater with 300 people and let them know that that is not what they look like. That is not how they behave. And they were adamant. I missed 3/4 of the movie because they would not stop. They will look through your eyes and see what's going on. Okay, in this particular picture that Igor's brought up, and I will show you on I have a close-up of it. That'll make it easier for you as well. We found that if you take pictures of me in the woods, and I hate my picture taken, they generally pop up. Oh, there it is. This is a mother and her child that had been following me around the woods. This was on my property. And, okay, you want to talk about it? So we were taking photographs, and like I said, we found out that if you take my picture, they're generally not far behind. It's been like this since I was a very small girl. By 3 or 4, I would go outside to play, and they would be standing in full physical form, because there is a difference between physical form and cloaking form. and they would be there watching me play. And so that's how we got this. We thought at first it was two, but after Igor analyzed it, we actually found that it was a mother with twins. And that's the mother's head in the middle, and there was a baby on her back as well as one in front of her, on the shoulder.
And I want to add to this experience by Janice and Robin that in our country the same happened for several years. One woman in Urals, it's mostly women communicate with them. Was several years communicating with them, going into the forest, leaving for them food, etc. And they answer, and even once he made a photo of that. She called him as a pet. I also visited her, and I found a lot of confirmation of what they say. And find another was a case in not far from Moscow, some about 70 miles of Kremlin. One woman was in her garden. In her garden was a raspberry fluffing the soil, etc., etc. It was noon, and just she heard the noise, some noise behind her back. She turned and see huge human-like being, hairy, brown color, standing and wanted to make one step. She saw that he wanted to make this stop and step and stop. And after that she see that it is just disappearing, not moving, disappearing on her eyes. One curtain like that, curtain going down from his head after going down. One leg was yet seen, other was not seen, and after that the leg disappeared. What is it? She said, I did not see, I saw that he did not move. He just disappeared on my eyes. And after that she was very scared and she rather drove her things away. I visited also her on that place. I made some photographs I can show you. But and she was 74 years old, and before she was a mathematician teacher. That is why she prepared to show me the scheme of all this what happening. Maybe I'll show you now. Just a moment. Here it is. Here. This, what was her garden? It is forest around. This was her place. Just easy woman, such a cabin there, very primitive. And she was sitting when we met her. And after, yes, that she narrating me and showing this picture of what she made. Here was standing, and I showed the head of him and her daughter, and we together with her. Where is that skin? Sorry, this is. Here, what she drew. He was standing in such position, bent arms, and it was pole that we compared. It could be about 9 feet tall, this creature. Yes, also another man in another similar activities was in Siberia. One artist met with this. That means this creature are capable, have capability of paranormal capabilities very much. What about project? Have you about project? You are talking. To show.
Okay, we started a new project, and this is when I spoke just for a second about when Igor was getting set up over here.
One more story. It is very important. You see about that woman who said that he disappeared. Maybe you can believe, but once we went to one location, camping, our car was standing, and a game camera was fixed on the roof of the truck. This was like crossover. Yes, and we were. It was raining. After the rain stopped at 3 a.m. Rain stopped, and we went from. I was in the car, and the driver was owner of the car, woman, young woman, and my friend also, another friend was in the tent. At 3 o'clock we stand up. This young woman went from the car and went to the tent to sleep there, continue, and we started to make campfire, and we were walking around. Here it is. And our game camera was shooting. And till 4 o'clock, 4 a.m., nothing was happened. But after that, I showed this in the evening. One man who showed us this place, he went away. This was in the evening. But after, at 4 o'clock, just exactly at 4 o'clock, you can.
Right behind the tent, you can see a black shape.
Behind the tent, one black silhouette appeared. This one, this, behind this. I am in red vest, and my friend was in black. And what this here you can see more clearly. He was walking here. We did not see anything, but game camera, took him. It was long for one hour continuing. After that, my friend took the camera to go to the forest to photograph there. And after when we leave this, because rain started again, we left for the city. He called me and said, we took his picture, and after I look at see really this was. That means they could be invisible. This one. Better photo. And one our man developed it and found that there was a face and even hand. He moved his hand like so. Just to confirm that they have such paranormal activity.
Thank you. Another little trick is if you're out in the woods or if you suspect you might be in an area they're at, if you just take random pictures. do not try to focus on them because they can use their paranormal abilities to totally black it out so you're not going to get anything. That is why everybody's pictures are blurry. They are fully aware that they can take energy from their bodies and manipulate your camera. So if you really want to try to get one, just go out and take random pictures of absolutely nothing but scenery. If they are cloaked, there's a good chance that they will show up in your pictures. So you're going to take that picture, you're going to go home, you're going to blow it up, and a lot of time you're going to find them in there. Because trying to get them while they're walking around, they can manipulate your camera. Okay, back to our hominology project. This is a project that Igor has wanted to do for quite some time and has talked to myself and Janice about it. We finally, the International Hominology of the Forest People. And so we've started this. This is actually finally happening. We're going to try to bring, there's a lot of sectors of people in this research. You have contactees and habituators, which for anybody that's in this industry knows we get booed a lot. Okay? But let's face it, guys, we're the only ones that have contact with them. So we actually should be the ones getting talked to. We want to bring that scientific community in. Okay, because science is important. We can't pretend that it isn't, but we also have to be realistic and say the science in this is outside of the box. It's not in the norm. But the scientists are not getting the contact, and that's where we come in. We want to get the regular lay people that are out there, even have an occasional sighting, or people that are just starting in this, and we need to bring everybody together. There's a lot of questions out there. There's very few answers, and the only way we're going to do it is if we learn. And the only way to learn is from the source, which is the forest people. We will still be trying to get DNA. In fact, we were very blessed to speak with someone today about some, or yesterday, I guess it was last night. So we're thrilled about that. We're going to be getting a lot of literature out. A lot of information that has been sitting for a long time that this wonderful man has gotten through his years. And we're going to want to use that, okay? I'm very blessed. I get to work not only with Igor, but with Jan Carter. I mean, she's amazing. She's been doing this her whole life.
I combined them. I made them acquainted. It's my default. Yeah. You see, about hominology, I want to say that though Orthodox science does not recognize this creature, we say we started new science, which is called hominology. Means the science about hominoids, of hominoids. That means human-like, wild beings which are so developed and they look like human, but they are not animals. They are human, adjacent human, and also that finds by Melba Ketchum, Dr. Melba Ketchum, she studied the DNA of these beings. She came to the conclusion that they are hybrids of the some not known creature with a human. That means maybe they are aliens to combine with humans and got such a hybrid, like we call it Bigfoot, Sasquatch, etc. And they are very, very intelligent. They are very capable. They are very, and they want to help the people, the humans, to preserve the environments, to preserve the nature, to preserve the globe, because humans do such crazy things that they could delete all this life on the planet and all the nature and themselves. If you
I'd like to speak for just a moment about the DNA paper. I was very fortunate that I was able to assist with Dr. Ketchum. Well, I am not a scientist by any realm. I was there during the process and the paper being done. There's a lot of misinformation. If anybody has questions on it, you are welcome to contact me at any time. I was on the ground with her, so I know. I did not know Melba before the paper, so I did not go into this with a preconceived notion on her character. I will say that she is one of the finest people I've been blessed to meet, and she is above reproach with integrity. These studies that were done, and there was over 100 samples. Some of samples were Janice's, sent by Jan herself, some by Igor, some were mine. Mine actually I turned in after the study. It's not listed in there, other than Igor did send one of my samples in with his, and it's listed in there. Now, they did over 100 samples. These were, the first tests were done by Nova. After that, because she didn't want to be accused of hoaxing anything or not being done correctly, these went to the top labs in the country. Not all of them were listed as, we want to know if this is a Bigfoot. Most of them were done as blind and double-blind studies, which means these were listed as only a species identification, nothing more. They had no clue what they were testing at any time. Some were done by robotic arms to remove chance of contamination. DNA from anybody that handled those samples was turned into the labs to eliminate their DNA being on the samples. Great lengths went to make sure that there was no possibility. The mitochondrial side came back, which is the mother, that came back as a human. The father's side, which is the nuclear, came back unknown. Now, I will say for the record that there is no part in that paper that will state that the unknown is an ET or anything of that nature. On a personal note, and Janice can confirm this as well, we've asked them. If you just want to know, you ask the question. And before I had even heard the results on Mother's paper, we'd only been talking a short time, she said to me, she said, you know, I think it's odd because everybody that's ever met me, the first thing they want is the answer to the DNA. What did they come back as? And I said, okay. And she said, but you've never asked. I said, I don't need to know, I already know. She said, well, how do you know? And I said, I asked them years ago. And when I asked, I was told that they are human, like us, and then they would point to the stars and say, and we're also star people. That is where the paranormal abilities come. We all have had paranormal abilities. We have been programmed to believe they do not exist. And that is why we don't use them. Granted, they may not compare to the amount that they have. They have quite a leg on us. But we have them. And when you don't use it, you lose it. And if you don't believe you have it, you can't do it. Okay, the brain is a wonderful thing if you use it, but if you choose not to, you can't move forward. Jen, did you want to add anything about that? Okay. All right. As far as our Havanology project, there are so many people that can be brought into this project that need to be. Another thing that is, especially with the three of us, is a very large concern. Everybody and their brother that is not part of our no-kill groups heads out to the woods with the intent that they're going to bag a Bigfoot, which is a really dumb idea because if you get one, there's about 12 more waiting in the sidelines that will make sure you're next. But that aside, it's murder. They are part human. Okay, it is murder, and there's no other way to look at it. Just a minute. Okay. Now you need to forget what I said. I know, just a minute. Okay, we want to get information out on how to live copacetically with these beings. These people have their own culture, they have their own way of life, they have their own way of doing things. Most of the problem comes from them not understanding our ways are not being understood by them. We need to educate our people on their ways, okay, so that we can live amongst them. Now there are good and bad in everything, just like there are with our people, so there's good and bad with them. This is another part of the education process that we want to bring forward to you. We've been lucky that we've now teamed up with Dr. John here, and he has been a real big hand for him because he has been instrumental in this. We absolutely could not do this without him as far as helping us we have many conferences coming up, podcasts coming up, pamphlets, books, literature that's going to get this word out, and without him it would not happen. We can get him the information, but he's got to give it to him. Hand for Dr. John, please.
It's been a real privilege working on these studies. It's been a lot of fun. Robin initially contacted me for Igor to be a speaker at the Georgia Bigfoot Conference. He did not make it over here during that time, but we've been working on a number of projects. One is, of course, this brand new Bigfoot Explorers, an introduction to hominology that is really the first textbook on Bigfoot. So we're excited about it. Thanks to them, it's been a great partnership. and I will turn it and join at International Hominology on Facebook. Add +1. So here, thank you.
Thank you, sweetie.
I prepared such a big book. It is in 2 languages, Russian and English in parallel. And though it's very, very rare edition, now we are preparing other edition only in English and only in Russian to divide this because it will be better for you. That means soon you can have such a book, can order it and read and enjoy. From Robin.
We're going to show you if we. We're going to do questions. Does anybody have any questions before we go forward? Anything at all? Okay, if you do, raise your hand and we'll. Did you have one, Tony? Okay.